So I've been working with the Moog Sound Studio for about 6 months now, and I wanted to give you an honest review of what I like about it and what I don't like about it. But given that these units have been out for quite some time and YouTube's algorithm only really likes feeding you the latest and greatest gear of the week, it got me thinking, is the Moog Sound Studio still relevant? What's up everyone, Ryan from Oakland Ghosts, and today I wanted to give you an honest review of the Moog Sound Studio after I've used it for multiple months in multiple productions. Tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it. What I'm not going to do is give you an overview of what each of the units does and what it sounds like. I have videos that have that, and honestly there's better videos out there that do a much better job of it, and honestly if you're coming to look at a review, I got the sense you already know what they do. You're just trying to find out if it's for you. And that's what I hope to answer here today. Is it still relevant in today's synth landscape? Who's it for? And most importantly, would I buy it again? Let's dive in. So Moog started launching the semi-modular line with the Mother 32 in 2015, followed by the DFAM in 2018 and the Subharmonicon in 2021. It first sold them as a full, complete unit in 2021. I didn't find out about them until about 2022. And I immediately got kind of sucked down the rabbit hole, was very impressed with what I saw, what I heard more importantly. I always wanted a Moog, but I was kind of a keyboard guy, not so much a synthesis guy, and it was a little intimidating, but it seemed like a good entry point for me. So I immediately jumped on many mailing lists because it was backordered everywhere, at every retailer. I could not find one. And every 2 weeks, I would get an email from all the various retailers saying, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks. And after about 6 months of that, I contacted some of the smaller retailers and just, what's going on here? And one of them told me they had heard through the grapevine that Moog was going to be canceling and no longer producing the Moog Sound Studio. At first I thought that meant all the units, and I was like, well crap, I really want one and there's probably going to be a run for them, so I gotta find one before this news breaks. And I got lucky. I found a good used one at a good price from Perfect Circuit. Within a couple months after that, Moog did in fact announce that they were going to discontinue the line, but they would be selling the units individually. So you could still get a DFAM, you could still get a Mother 32, you could still get a Subharmonicon, you just couldn't get them as the studio bundle any longer, because I guess they were losing money on 3-tier stands or something. Maybe just don't throw the dice game in every one of them. Fast forward to today, the big question, is it still relevant? Well, I think that question's a little more nuanced than people think. I don't see a lot of videos about the Moog Sound Studio anymore, even though even a year ago I was still seeing quite a bit. So you could argue that the algorithm doesn't think it's relevant anymore, but if you were to jump online today and look up at the resale value of a Moog Sound Studio, the full bundle, you're probably looking at about $2,000, which is about $500 more than what it cost new when they were first coming out. And more to the point, if you go and try to find those modules, which Moog said would be still available individually, like the Mother 32 or the DFAM or the Subharmonicon, as of today, looking at all the various retailers, they're sold out and on back order. Add to that Moog's released 2 more units in the Mother 32 ecosystem, the semi-modular Labyrinth and Spectravox, just this year, which are part of the same family. That would tell me that there's definitely still a demand for them, which would make them very relevant. So the next big question is, who are they for? When the Sound Studio came out, if you look at the packaging and you look at the games like the dice game, and there was a card game I think too, and there's lots of colorful pictures and lots of colorful posters, beautiful art, beautiful packaging, little cutouts and stuff. It felt to me they were trying to market it toward beginners into the world of synthesis. And I'm not sure that I think that that's who it should have been aimed at. One, the price point makes it a little unattainable for people who are just trying to experiment and see if they like synthesis. It was pretty expensive out of the box. Second of all, these units are more complicated than I think the average user would be getting their head around. I think they're probably perfect for someone like me who has some experience using synthesizers, albeit the keyboard ones, even with, limited controls and stuff like that, who are interested in learning more about true synthesis and, what the signal path is, how it works, how you can patch things together. Maybe some people that were a little enamored with modular and wanted to experiment with that. I've heard it said that it's kind of a gateway drug to modular. I'm not sure if I buy that either. For some people, certainly, like there's a guy, Braintree56, who has an awesome tutorial set on the Moog Sound Studio, if you get one and you want to learn about it. And he started with just the Moog Sound Studio, and he has an enormous wall of crazy modules at this point. So sure, I think it was a gateway drug for some people, but speaking for myself and as someone who is a little enamored with modular, I have no interest in jumping to modular. I like the semi-modular set. It's perfect for me. I can still get into a song, I can get something dialed in real quick, and then I can further tweak it by patching or with patching, but I don't have to. I can't imagine what it would be like spending 20 minutes just patching something up just so I could hear a beep before I could even start modulating that sound. That's just so much time wasted when I'm trying to write a song. And semi-modular feels like a good bridge for me, where I know I can get some good sounds, but I also know that I can manipulate them in unique ways after the fact. If that sounds like you, then the Moog Sound Studio is probably exactly what you're looking for. It's also taught me a great deal about synthesis. Like I said, I have experience with synths, more in the keyboard format and even just using presets and minor tweaks. I know about a little bit of filtering and stuff like that. But using the Moog Sound Studio forced me to really get an understanding of how the signal paths work, what a VCO is, what a VCF is, what an envelope is, how all those things work together to create your sound. And that's made me better with other synths as well that are not fully modular like this. So for someone that was interested in synths and wanted to understand them better, this is a great way to do it because the knobs are all right there. It's already normal. You just have to twist things around and see what you can get. Again, if that sounds like you, this might be a great entry point for you. Now the ultimate question, would I buy it again? Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, even as just an investment, since in general, especially analog gear, you're already pretty safe, because the resale market is strong, it's good, they don't lose a lot of value, and in fact, the Moog Sound Studio has actually gone up in value. I'd make a profit if I were to sell it today, but I also don't think I'd sell it. I really love it. Like I said, it was a great entry point into learning synthesis a little more in depth. I love the ease of use of them, I love the sound of them, and they're just constantly inspiring. That's not to say there aren't some things I don't like about it. The tuning on the Subharmonicon is a pain in the ass. It's not impossible, but it is what it is. The sequencer on the Mother 32, some people love it. I think it's just so-so. I don't think it's great. There's also a lot of hidden features that are hidden behind hidden menus. If you don't read the manual, you're losing a lot of what the Mother 32 is truly capable of. And as for the DFAM, I'd say the biggest knock on that one is the sequencer. It's very limiting. It's pitched as a percussive synth, which is a good idea. You can't really call it a drum synth because the sequencer is just so limiting. It's only 8 steps. It's pitch and velocity sensitive, and honestly, although you can sort of, in theory, create 2 different sounds going by using pitch as a separate voice, it's dependent on velocity as well if you actually want to get a sound. And so you can't really have separate voices going at separate times. It's unfortunate, but it's also really cool. Like for getting really cool percussive textures, amazing. For getting drones, amazing. And for just getting like a solid kick that I could sample into the deluge, or a solid snare, or just weird sounds, absolutely awesome for sampling. I might try pairing it with a MAFD, an MAFD, and from there, I think I might be able to use it more like a true drum synth, where I could put basically on each step of the sequencer, I could put a different sound and then use MIDI to trigger those. So that might be an option. I don't know, I'm gonna explore it and see what comes out. But even as it is, I still think it's really cool. What I like to do is make my drums on the deluge and then just use the DFAM to kind of supplement those with weird kind of percussive textures. But all in all, yeah, I love them all. I'd totally buy them again, and I highly recommend them. There's my honest review after 6 months. I still think they're great. I still think they're relevant. They're not for everyone, but I think if you're watching this channel, they're probably for you and worth checking out. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, click that subscribe. It helps us out a ton, and I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, Brian out.